Well, Prince William and Harry have both issued statements today criticizing the BBC and British media for unethical practices after an investigation found that a BBC journalist, Martin Bashir, used, quote, deceitful behavior to secure a legendary 1995 interview with Princess Diana that quickly became her most explosive media appearance.
It brings indescribable sadness to know that the BBC's failures contributed significantly to her fear, paranoia and isolation that I remember from those final years with her.
Harry says the issue was bigger than just the BBC. In his statement, he said this, quote, yet what deeply concerns me is that practices like these, and even worse, are still widespread today. Then and now, it's bigger than one outlet, one network, or one publication. Joining us now to talk more about this is historian and celebrity journalist Hadley Hall Mears. Hadley, thank you so much for being with us. This really was fascinating news to kind of, and sad news, quite frankly, to get into today. Just to start off with, explain what the dirty tricks were that Martin Bashir, according to this latest investigation, used to get Diana to talk to him.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Actually, they were quite extraordinary, the lengths, it seems, that Mr. Bashir went to get this interview going. It looks like he made up false receipts that showed that certain members of palace staff are being paid off. He gave a lot of information to Lord Spencer, Princess Diana's brother, that was clearly false or rumors that he presented as fact. And that is actually what convinced Diana to meet with Mr. Bashir and end up to agreeing to do the interview. So they were just feeding her a lot, including basically telling her that the palace was planning, or at least Prince Charles was planning, on perhaps having some kind of solution where they got rid of her and her family and forced them to move to America.
Wow. So basically it was just kind of playing with her mind a little bit so that she was vulnerable and angry, and then sit down and give me the dirt. And then this interview was watched by millions of people. The other stunning part of this is that there was an investigation more than 20 years ago at the time, but that investigation apparently went nowhere and was botched as well. So it took a judge this time around, starting in late last year, to get it right.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happened. And, you know, Prince William said in his statement that he was absolutely heartbroken because if his mother had known during the time of the first investigation the truth, it had been revealed to her that she had been fed these lies by Mr. Bashir. I think he really believes that she would be alive today. And I think that Harry feels the same way. So if she had been able to know the truth, that the BBC had done a real honest investigation instead of kind of covering their behinds up over 20 years ago, this could have had a very different outcome in terms of Diana's tragic last years of her life.
Wow, remarkable. And what is the latest on Mr. Bashir? I understand that he has been very sick with COVID.
Yes, he has been very sick for quite a while, and he resigned a few days ago from his post at the BBC. I assume that it's for illness, but also one has to wonder about the timing, since he knew that Lord Dyson's report on this would be coming out very shortly.
And he had the other hugely high-profile interview with Michael Jackson. Is some of his other work now being examined, now that we know the extent of the deception that led to the Diana interview?
Absolutely. There's many different reports that he did that are really under scrutiny right now. And, you know, Michael Jackson, after his interview with Mr. Bashir, he said that he felt like he had been misled and taken advantage of by Mr. Bashir. So Diana was one of the main victims, but this was a really, really clear pattern. And, you know, he hit her when she was really vulnerable, when she was really uncertain about her future and the state of her marriage. So what he did is really, really disgraceful if these findings are true.
Absolutely. And you have to feel bad for Harry and William. Forget all the royal drama for a second. These were heartfelt statements today. These were two young men who lost their mother very young and publicly so. And Harry said in his statement, the ripple effect of a culture of exploitation and unethical practices ultimately took her life. I think that was such a way to get through to the humanity of all this.
Absolutely. And you see that he and Meghan kind of felt like they had to leave Britain and come all the way to California to get away from some of that intrusive journalism and this kind of winner take all attitude in terms of coverage on the royal family. And you can just see so many ripple effects from this about Harry and William's relationship today, their relationship with their father, their parents' relationship leading to the divorce. These little deceits that he did to get this interview have had really large ripple effects that have really personally affected folks' lives.
Yeah, that was the famous interview where she said there were 3 of us in this marriage, putting the affair out to the world, and years later she was gone. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Sorry about the topic, but really glad to get your insight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.